Hey, listen! This is the Left Behind Game Club, and this is our episode about the first half of The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Come back in 2 weeks from now, we'll have our discussion about the second half of the game, but until then, enjoy all the tangents that we go on, including, weirdly enough, talk about my grandmother issues.
Jacob,
for you.
what do you have against grandmothers?
Don't you? I have a grandmother. My grandma's kind of mean. My grandma's kind of mean, so let's not go there.
So we know where the root of Jacob's grandmother issues are.
Should I pull up a chair and give you a nickel, Lucy? You want to talk about it?
You're listening to the Left Behind Game Club.
Welcome to the Left Behind Game Club, our never-ending attempt to make sure that no game is left behind. I'm your host, Jacob McCourt, and with me, 3 friends. I'll start with the friends you know. First friend, Mike Ruffolo.
I'm so excited to talk about great games.
Second friend, Murtadi.
Just as excited to talk about great games.
And third friend, who's a guest on this episode for the first time on the podcast, Dawn Ferron.
Hello, I'm also very, very, very excited to talk about video games.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So the video game that Michael decided to pick this time around is The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Tell us a little bit about that thing.
It's a fantastic game.
Uh-huh.
Released in 2002 in Japan, 2003 in North America and other regions. It is the very first instance of cell shading in a Zelda series, the first appearance of Toon Link. It takes place on the high seas, captaining the Red Dragon boat. And let's get into it. It's just a great game.
That boat talks.
It's a talking boat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the weirdest thing about this game, but I love it. So let's talk.
Before we talk about it, one question for you and then one question for everyone. There was a bit of controversy around this game when it was first announced, correct?
I remember some hubbub.
Mm-hmm. Was it not announced as a non-cel-shaded game? And then from there, they revealed and said, hey, this is actually a cel-shaded game, and people were not disappointed? Or were disappointed?
I remember that for Borderlands, but I don't remember that for Wind Waker. Is that what you remember?
That's what I remember. I remember distinctly like a Space World trailer where they're like, hey, here's the next Legend of Zelda, and it's just Link, and he's got a sword, and whoop-de-doo. And then they said, actually, it's a cel-shaded game.
Did they also not change the name? The original release title?
I think so. I absolutely think so. And I think we will figure this out before we do our next episode. But I distinctly remember that.
Baton of the Wind is what it was supposed to be called, or something like that? Or that was what it was called in Japan still, I think.
Mm-hmm. We will look into this, because I distinctly remember this. Oh, you're looking it up?
Fact check, you are correct.
Wow. Am I?
Fake news.
Was it called Baton of the Wind before? Because then Dawn could be right, too.
I'm not about to start fact-checking everything we say.
Right. So what's your experience with the game? Dawn, I'll start with your past experience with this game.
So when I got the GameCube, I got a hold of the Master Quest version of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, which is actually my personal favorite Zelda game of all time. They included a demo of Wind Waker, which had the first dungeon, let's say. So when I first played Wind Waker, it was through the demo, and I played it so many times because I couldn't afford to go and buy the game, and my cousin would let me borrow his copy, and then his brother snapped it in half out of spite. It was a really sad day. So I constantly played that demo, and I played it so many times that later on, I didn't want to play it because I was just so sick of playing that demo, and I never wanted to have to go through that beginning part ever again as long as I lived. And here we are. I'm playing it for the first time.
Wow.
Feels like the first time. Mo, what is your experience with the game?
Okay, so I just want to say that the best Legend of Zelda game of all time is Phantom Hourglass on the Nintendo DS.
It's really good. I like that one.
So the sole reason is because that's the only one I've ever played.
Mo, don't you dare hijack this. Don't you dare.
No,
Look me right in the eyes.
Michael,
don't you dare.
Phantom.
Don't you dare.
No, so I remember when this first was announced, when the GameCube was all
Hype.
The hyped up.
GameCube-
It looked
GameCube was
amazing.
hype.
And you guys know, every podcast I say that time and time again, I'm a sucker for visuals.
Mm-hmm.
This game came out. What did you say it was called? The art style or something?
Cell
It's like
shading.
cell shading.
Yeah, that it just looks so cool. When they make the wind actually look like cartoony, it reminded me almost like Paper
waves.
Mario, but like 3D Paper Mario. If that's
Yes,
an oxymoron,
yeah,
but it
with
kind of
that.
makes sense. Yeah. So I was super excited, and I never really got around to playing it because I just never had the title. So later on, fast track to Nintendo DS era, I got the Phantom Hourglass. Actually
How did we get back to the Phantom Hourglass?
I love it. I love
He
it.
keeps
Mo,
coming
don't you
back.
dare.
Spirit Tracks
No,
was
so I played
released
that.
after that.
Played that,
Okay.
loved it, and then when you guys said let's play Wind Waker, I'm like, I'm down. I'm game.
Okay,
Let's
good.
get it going.
Good. Okay. And Mo, what are you playing it on?
I'm playing it on an emulator.
Okay.
I do own a copy, but I'm playing it on an emulator.
Okay. Dawn, you're playing it on a GameCube?
I'm playing it on a GameCube that now makes terrible, terrible noises with a borrowed copy from you, Mike.
Okay, great.
My GameCube has been broken for like years.
You have 2 copies of Wind Waker just hanging around?
I really like this game, Jacob.
I didn't realize that you had 2 copies.
I do. I'm playing it on my Wii, and obviously I'm loving it.
Mm-hmm.
And so my experience with the game was I played it back when I was a kid. I played way too much of it. I never got far in the story because I just went island to island, completing as much as I could. I completed the whole map, giving all the bait to the little fishies of the sea before I think I hit the halfway point. I don't think last time I got the Master Sword. So I'm excited to talk about all the new fun things that I've seen. Right, Mo?
All the fun things.
So
And Jacob.
I played the remake on Wii U.
Okay.
I own the GameCube version. It's my experience with the Legend of Zelda series is weird. So I rented the N64, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask a lot back when Blockbuster was a thing, but I never finished either of them, like all the way through. Like I've probably played.
Sacrilege.
I know I've probably played Ocarina of Time all the way through, but like I used other people's saves, and I'd be like, "Oh, he's at the final boss. I'm just
you
gonna
were
beat
that guy."
I was that guy. Yeah.
I've never finished Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask.
I've only played at other people's houses when they let me like have a controller. I was PlayStation.
I've
2
never
growing up.
been more disappointed in 3 grown men.
Who claim to like video games but have never. And you know what's weird too? I own the disc that you're talking about. You were talking about like the red cover Master Quest, right? Or are you talking about the one that has the Legend of Zelda like
The Triforce.
the
It has the
Triforce on the
Triforce
front?
on it. It does. It's not a red cover. I wish I would have brought it.
And I know the one you're talking about. It's got 5 demos. I think that's.
Oh, actually, this is it.
That's
Yeah.
it. Okay, that's the one that I got rid of.
So Michael just grabbed a game randomly from a.
Maybe I have your copy because I purchased it from a secondhand. Oh, I purchased it from a secondhand store, and it was like a flea market. And I begged my mom to get it for me because my brother broke our N64, so I didn't have a chance to play those games that I loved as a kid ever again. So
you're saying you took my childhood away from me, and you took my copy of Legend of Zelda.
I took your childhood away from you because you gave it away.
The very next day, you gave it away. So let's talk about the game. So what an awesome opening cinematic, huh?
Sure.
Huh? Okay.
Michael is so excited.
Okay, let me just say, best Zelda game ever.
Oh, that
Think so?
Sorry, I
Maybe.
just wanted to say I've played through it fully once.
Okay.
Just want to throw that out there.
Right, already.
Yeah, already. So this is
Okay.
my second time through.
Okay. Clearly, Jacob. I don't know if
is an
any.
overachiever.
Yeah. If anyone had the pleasure of watching Jacob McCourt's streams of the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, they would have been in for a treat because there were some amazing moments of Jacob lost in tunnels looking for a sail, completely missing where he needed to go. He looked at every aspect of this island except for where he needed to go.
So I should probably explain
And he beat this game already.
in the Swift sale in the Wii U version. I don't think it's in the GameCube version. You get a sail from the auction house that lets you go twice as fast. Also, when you have this sail, doesn't matter what direction the wind is, it's always going to be behind your sail.
That's cheating.
Yeah, it's super cheating, but I wanted it really
I don't know if
badly.
it's cheating. It's just doing research.
So I spent 45 minutes looking for the auction house. I know it's
Well, I could also say that on the Wii U version,
one of the
you can
best
use
hours
the
of the game I've ever
gamepad as the map or your like item bag, which is kind of like cheating because on the GameCube version, you have to constantly go into your menu and like, all right, yeah, now I got to remember where this is, where you could look at both when you're playing the Wii U version.
Some would say cheating. I would say innovation.
Okay, so let's set up the game. So unlike your typical Legend of Zelda games where, Link is approached and said, here, take this. It's not safe to go alone. And, you're going to save Princess Zelda and, defeat Ganondorf. This game is set up...
Wait, Zelda is the girl?
No, get out of here. Get out of here. Let's not do this. Mr. Twilight Princess is the best.
I actually really enjoyed
nonsense.
Twilight Princess.
Let's talk about the best game, the 10th game in the series, The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
There's a little like short circuit.
Gonna make me flip this table.
Yo, I hear Four Swords Adventure is pretty good too.
It is pretty good. I like it. So this game is different because it opens up with essentially Toon Link. But it's not with the traditional trappings. Zelda is clearly the equivalent is Tetra in this game. She's the female lead of a group of pirates. And the game starts out with this big bird who's looking to catch Tetra. Don't go there. Don't make a thing about Big Bird.
No affiliation to Sesame Street.
It's not endorsed by PBS. There's this big bird that goes and steals your little sister on your birthday. And you go to see your grandmother, and she's just the cutest little thing.
She really is.
Oh my God, is grandma not the cutest
I wrote
thing?
that in my notes.
I have a
several
note
times
that says, great opening cinematic, grandma is cute.
She's cute as heck. Would you call her a nunna?
I would call her a nonna.
Oh, that's so adorable. Go on.
So your little sister's taken, and your grandmother says, like, go save her. Like, go do this. And she guilts you. Grandma guilts you so good in this game. She guilts you every step along the way. Oh, my God.
But it works.
Yeah, it works. It works real well. We'll get more into Grandma Soup later. And so game is set up. You decide you've got to go and save your sister. You do some training with the two brothers in the one house, the one that teaches you swordsmithing or attacking.
Just had to, sorry.
I love the little fake languages and stuff that people say in this game.
I'm opposite.
Okay. And so then the mailman, the Rito postman, comes along, and he's just the biggest bro. Because Tetra's just like, I'm not taking you along, Squirt. And the bro mailman comes over and says, like, hey, he would not be in this situation if it wasn't for you. You're going to take him.
He's literally bird person.
He is bird person. He's bird person. He's just such a bro. Okay, so he bros real good, and then you get on Tetra's boat and you start sailing. And you have a really sad cinematic where you wave back to everyone on the island because you don't know if you're ever going to see them again.
You're going to see them again.
And that was so touching. And it's...
But man, he doesn't know that.
He doesn't know that. And it's one of the things that I really want to bring up is how consistently good the little cutscenes and cinematics in this game are. Because in most Zelda games, they're not directed nearly as well, and they don't have as much energy and character as they normally do. This is the first game that I ever felt like Link was a character.
Yeah.
I felt like he had personality. I felt like he had desires and wants, and he wasn't just an empty vessel that was, a place for you to just navigate him through like a tank with skill like precision, just cutting grass left and right.
Do you think it's like the art style and like the brightness, the big eyes, the whole thing like that makes it seem like, hey, he's a lovable character? Same with Grandma. It's like every single thing.
Grandma's so cute.
Yeah, no, I think that's part of the.
What about the snot-nosed kid in the town? He's just
his
so
snot bubble just
and
moves
he's just
around.
Waggling.
Yeah.
He's just waggling.
And he follows you around.
He's just chasing after you. Like his arms are flaming behind him. He's like, wait for me.
He's cute until you're trying to use the inverted controls, and then you're going the wrong way, and then he gets in your way, and then you get really frustrated. But he's just so cute, and you can't get angry at him.
Why are you using inverted controls?
For real.
I don't know how to change.
Does it not default to invert? I think on the Wii U version it does not. They fixed it, but I think on the GameCube version...
On the Wii U version, you have the option. On the GameCube version, you don't. So...
All right. Well, I completely agree with you, Mel. I think a lot of it has to do with the facial expressions and things like that. But there's also a bunch of really good cuts, like when Tetra's about to shoot you in a barrel into the fortress, and you just see the look on Little Link's face, like, oh my god.
When the countdown is happening?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Amazing. Okay. So, you're on the boat. You're on Tetra's boat. She says, go downstairs. Nico's got something for you. He's got a little challenge. He'll put you to work. Nico, hilarious. He's just a little squabby. He doesn't have anything going on in his life. He's living a bleak existence on the bottom of this pirate ship. And he's like, here, I've got this challenge for you. Might take you a year or so. And you just look at him like, Nico, you don't even know, bro.
Do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am? I'm the chosen
Zelda.
one.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. You're Zelda. Meanwhile, Zelda's on the boat, little Tetra.
Mm-hmm.
So you complete his little challenge. Get up, and then where do you go from there?
Do you not go on to not Dragon Roost, not Windfall?
No.
Windfall Island?
Is Windfall Island the first stop? I think you go to Forbidden Fortress first.
You do.
Forbidden Fortress is first.
Yeah.
I played that demo a lot.
Right, okay. So, Dawn, tell us about the Forbidden Fortress.
So in the Forbidden Fortress,
After you're
once you're like cannonballed in, what I remember is having to navigate the spotlights to get to a certain point. I think you get imprisoned, and then you have to get your stuff back. So you have to hide under barrels, and if a spotlight catches you, then you get thrown back in the prison cell. And that was so frustrating for me because I don't have the patience for like sneaking games. That's why I never played anything like Splinter Cell or anything like that. I just never had the patience.
Yeah,
So
that bad game.
with like all of the little like spotlights and stuff, it was awful, but it was great.
You know what this reminded me of? Did you guys play Shadow?
Don't talk about
Mark of Kree.
No, Sly Cooper, Thievius Reckonis.
Yes.
100%.
Kind of had that little like feel to it, like the darkness, and you're kind of creeping.
And the art style is pretty similar as well. Yeah.
And I think there was Spotlight like spots as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yo, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Reckonis is a great game.
Incredible,
Let's play it
underrated. It's gonna be my next one. I'm gonna recommend it.
Yeah, okay.
I think actually
I'll hold you to that. So you can make the Forbidden Fortress easier by knocking out the guards who are operating the spotlights. And you have to do that to get up to the top. And when you get there, what do you find?
Because you don't have your sword, right? They take your sword away from you, and that's the whole reason why you have to do this. You're just like, I'm running around, here's my shield.
Do you guys play it the exact same way of like, instead of walking places, you just tap A and roll?
Yeah, I rolled so much.
I rolled
Did you?
everywhere.
No.
What?
I don't.
It's faster.
It makes me dizzy.
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie.
it saves time.
Sometimes I don't know.
So much faster.
Ain't nobody got time for running around.
Right.
Like,
Just
I'm gonna roll everywhere.
everywhere.
Jinx. Give me a soda.
You guys share the same brain.
Do they see
You can talk
rolling?
now.
Are they Hayden?
So you get to the top of the Forsaken Fortress, and I forget what exactly happens, but the bird, the big bird, decides to pick you up, swings you in front, and you just see like a behind shot of Ganondorf or Ganon. I don't know.
I think
what
he's
the
being
difference
called
is.
Ganon here.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that
Anyways.
the thing? Is because I don't know. I haven't played the past ones. Is it Ganondorf or is it Ganon?
Yeah. So like Smash Brothers, he's Ganondorf.
100%.
But I've heard.
Ocarina of Time, his first
He's
stage
Ganondorf,
is...
and then he turns into Ganon.
Interesting.
But he's Ganon here.
Okay.
He's
so
Ganon in the
Ganon.
canon.
Ganon in the canon.
Yeah.
And you okay?
In
great.
the original games, he's also Ganon.
Yeah. Oh, like the NES games?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's your first exposure to Ganon. You get dropped in the sea, I believe.
Yeah.
And then the King of Red Sails comes.
King of Red Lions.
King of Red Lions. My bad. I'm sorry I misidentified him. And he comes and he talks to you, and you think you're like freaking out. And then Link's just totally okay with the talking boat.
I mean, wouldn't you be?
Totally.
No.
It was
Is this a Disney movie? Is it Mulan?
It was weird
I've
how
never seen
quickly
Mulan.
I was just like, yes,
No?
okay. In a world like this where Nico exists and Birdman, the post dude, and the little squabby guy with the snot that keeps wagging as he talks to you, a boat like this could totally exist. So
You get dropped on Windfall Island.
dropped on Windfall
And
Island,
the
fun
boat's like,
begins.
you need to get a sail.
You creep up on some pigs.
You do,
You
and
pick them up.
you throw
'em,
pigs.
You throw them off the edge.
What happens when you slash the pigs? Nothing.
Nothing.
They don't even get upset.
some thick hide.
Yeah. I want to ask, do you guys feel as though this game...
bacon.
Thick cut, center cut bacon.
Yuck.
Yuck.
Tick.
I feel like these games aren't as dense as the N64 ones. Like, if you go into Windfall Island, I find that there's not a lot going on.
For sure.
Whereas, like, if you went into Hyrule in the N64 games, everything seemed, maybe it's because there was less space, but it felt more dense and more alive to me.
I would very much disagree about Windfall Island because I feel like every time I go back to Windfall Island, there is something new that I'm finding.
There's something different happening.
There's always something happening. It's whether you're finding Ivan in the little what's their gang called? The honeybees? The bees or something.
The killer bees?
The killer bees, that's it.
Yeah.
And you're hitting the switch and then getting the wind to blow in the right direction to get the windmill Ferris
to flow.
Go.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you're not there yet.
No.
You'll get there.
Okay.
And then you light up the lighthouse with your fire arrows, and there's just always little things to do. There's the crawling through the tunnels with the rats.
Oh God, I hated that so much.
Oh, Jacob had a lot of fun.
They
in those
scared
tunnels,
me every
just going
time.
in
It's like a
circles.
jump scare.
Yeah. How much did you watch me?
I watched your streams, and they were so much fun. Everybody should watch Jacob's streams.
I have trouble with things. And that's where you find Tingle, right?
Tingle, the weirdest.
Tingle.
He's amazing. He's one of my favorite Zelda characters of all time. Every time I see like a grown man cosplaying as him, I have to get a photo with him because it's just like so beautiful.
And what's the GBA stuff in the GameCube version? Like, isn't there GBA integration?
Yeah.
What is that?
So if you hook up your Game Boy to your GameCube with the Tingle Tuner,
It was the Game Boy Advance.
right, the Game Boy Advance. I don't know what it showed you. I think it might have showed you treasure and hints. But I honestly, I'd never touched it when I was playing the game. When I was a child or now, I thought Tingle was just outside of my comfort zone.
In what way, Michael?
In every way.
Did you want him to wear pants?
Is
that the issue?
Him to be a different Tingle.
A more business Tingle?
A more business Tingle.
Okay.
This is getting way too weird, guys.
A business Tingle, right?
Yeah. So...
Did you play it like completionist style, Mike? Like
No,
in the past, or what? Like,
so in the past, like I said, I completed the whole map before I got halfway through the game. I was completing every side quest I could.
like
This
taking
time,
out every single blade of grass.
every single blade of grass. I had maxed out my wallet. I had maxed out my bombs. All
As
that
you usually
stuff.
do when you're a kid, when you have more time on your hands,
Yeah.
you want to get every little thing that you can.
game
Because
over
I know
the
I was
summer.
like that too.
Yeah. But this time, I just beelined the story, and it was quick.
Quick?
It was quick.
How quick?
It was thick and quick. So, yeah, Zophos makes a great entrance. The god of wind who teaches your first song.
Wind's Requiem.
With the Wind's Requiem. Left, down, up. Left, down, right.
Up, left, right.
Yeah, I
By the
know the
way-
melody more than I know what the button combo
Some of the
is.
most satisfying mechanics in the game is just like, remember Ocarina of Time when you got to play the flute?
Yeah.
You press the
You-
C
you-
sticks.
when it
Polyphony.
narrows in and you
Yeah.
get to see him like
This
compose.
I remember playing bits of Ocarina of Time way back when, and just remembering that little moment, or when you call in the horse,
Epona.
Epona.
satisfying. And if you memorize
Bless
the
you.
actual like button combo, you felt so cool. You're like, oh, I'll just call him right now. Yeah, no, and then
Yeah.
playing music now is life changing.
Yeah, I'm enjoying learning new songs. But yeah, Zophos is hilarious.
And see, I don't remember him at all. Like, a lot of this game is forgettable.
I remember
to me.
the sequence, but I don't remember specifically
His
what he
entrance?
looked. Yeah, but I don't
he was
remember
so funny.
specifically his like demeanor. I know he reminded me of the owl in Ocarina of Time. I was
Okay.
just kind of annoyed.
I'm still blanking. I don't.
Reminded me of like a Studio Ghibli character. Like he was just a
Okay,
fat
that's fair.
toad sitting on a cloud. It was like kind of Dragon Ball Z-ish mo.
Shout out to Dragon Ball Z.
And it was just great. Yeah, where do we go from here?
You go to your first dungeon, correct, to collect your
Yeah.
first pearl.
So you get
is
the
there
sail.
like much story
The sail
wise?
you pick up quickly.
Do you know why you're doing
the
this?
Shop, the little Eskimo dude.
Why are we doing
You're
this?
sail-
saving Link.
Is that it?
You're saving your
Is that
sister.
the only veil?
Well, on Windfall Island, you find 2 other fathers whose daughters were also stolen.
Oh, the annoying ones that are like, "Hey, bring my daughter."
Yes.
Basically, you're just following grandma's
I
orders.
have sympathy for them because, their daughters have been stolen.
Right.
They don't seem like whiny men to me.
But every time you came up to them, they always came to you.
They kind of just wanted to remind you, like, hey, you remember that favor that I asked you to do? My daughter's still not here. You haven't noticed.
Right, I guess.
You should probably get on maybe,
I don't know.
going on that quest,
You promised us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see you've got that Master Sword now, but where's my daughter? Which is what I've exactly have found as I go back to Windfall Island.
You should have been like, Homie, you're standing in the same spot. Why
don't you help me out?
Get moving, man. You got a compass, go find it.
He's a working man, He's got to provide for the rest of his family.
Working by standing there harassing him. Telling me, hey, can you go get my daughter back for me?
I want to hear whining. I want to hear results.
Anyway, yeah. So you get your sail. You get on your talking boat. You go out to sea. Being out on sea is so much fun.
Cannot agree.
Why?
Yeah,
it's very tedious.
Yes, the waves and the clouds.
It is beautiful,
but
it's just very tedious and repetitive until you get to an island. Yeah, we're gonna fist bump.
Why
now.
couldn't it be? Why couldn't it be half
now
the
who's
size?
The brain trust?
Yeah, brain trust over here. It could be half the size.
Jacob, I don't know if you remember back in 2002, 2003, the idea of having
it was
a
technical marvel that was that big. Yeah. Great.
Also, games were in a different state back then where people were not willing to spend a ton of money on short games. Mm-hmm. So if by having it be longer,
with a lot of filler,
with a lot of
filler side quests,
there's a lot of side content.
There's a lot of exploring.
There's a lot of side content. But honestly, I love being at sea. You get the seagulls that fly with you. You see like the waves splitting as your boat goes through them.
Mm-hmm. It's just been raining a lot for me.
I think even the rain's great.
No.
The cyclones when they come by.
Those are cool, yeah.
Hilarious. Also a funny god. Yeah, so being out to sea I think is so much fun. And then there's treasure everywhere. I don't know about you.
Yeah, like 50 rupees at a time. They're like, oh, there's a shiny spot in the ocean. Right. Maybe it's something special. No, it's 50 rupees and my wallet's full. Great.
I've got some good stuff.
I remember in Phantom Hourglass, you could pull a shoe out of the ocean. I don't know if you can do that in Wind Waker. That would be.
It's not as good.
You can't. No, they want to reward you for things.
No, they want to reward you for just like scouring the ocean, scouring the high seas for those shiny little rings that make noise when you pass them. And then there's an enemy nearby, and you're like, you just nope right out of there. I nope right out of there every time.
So after you get your sail, you get on the seas, you enjoy the amazing experience watching the seagulls fly with you as you sail.
That is soothing.
It is so soothing.
I don't know why.
I feel like maybe he's talking from experience.
Yeah.
Are you talking from experience?
I am.
Are you a sailor?
I've spent some time sailing this summer. It's been great.
Okay.
I have sailed.
I have been on a boat.
I'm terrified of boats.
Well, so I can't help you there, Dawn. Maybe you're playing the wrong game.
I get seasick.
I get motion sickness a lot.
Yeah. Can I get those like things I put behind my ears, or can I get those bracelets? No, I don't want gravel. That'll put me to sleep.
Things that go behind your ears
like this game.
Work.
Jacob.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Don't talk ill upon this game full of quirk.
Listen. I thought this game was I thought this was my favorite Zelda game, and now I'm questioning after Super Mario Galaxy being like
questioning everything.
I'm questioning: are Nintendo games good?
Guys,
that's the question.
Who is
Jacob? That's a big statement.
It is. Are Nintendo games good? That is a legitimate question.
Hey, I can answer that for you. Yes.
Okay. Name 3 that are good.
Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
Ones we haven't played.
Super Mario 64.
1. The only one.
What do you mean the only one?
Pokemon Blue.
I just want to say
Mario Odyssey.
I just want to say that Donkey Kong Country is one of my top favorite games of all time.
Donkey Kong 64.
Ugh.
Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door.
Haven't played it.
Okay, well it's not my fault you don't play good games.
Jacob, let's try this. Good Nintendo game past 10 years. Crickets.
In the past.
Codename Steam.
Past 10 years?
Splatoon.
Oh, that was great.
Pikmin 2.
Okay. Is that 10 years? I don't think it is. I think that came out on the GameCube, so it would be like 12 or 13 years ago.
Whoa.
Okay, they had a new Pikmin that came out.
Pikmin 3.
Yeah, whatever that one was.
Mm-hmm. Probably forgettable. Go on. I'm not trolling you on purpose. I'm legitimately asking the question.
Yes,
Go on.
serious eyes. Yes, serious
This would be
eyes.
a discussion for another time. But I'm interested in the discussion.
Wii Sports is a good game. Get your
Is it even a game?
It's a game.
Okay.
There's a goal. There are actions that you do with a controller.
Let's put a pin in this because I have thoughts that I'm right now. I'm just trolling you. I'm being angry.
You're having a fantastic time on the ocean with its whimsy. Its
He's
color.
getting angry.
He's red.
Just breathe for a second.
Speaking of red, you sail on your red boat and you get to Roost Island, and you find out that is where your male bro is, right? And him and the king have some problems.
And the other bird people.
And the bird people. Bird people need to go get a scale from the dragon at the top of their island, so that way they can all get their wings. And he's very angry. So the king asks you to go and help him, so that way his son, the prince, who's holding one of the pearls that you'll need to collect later, can get his wings. And so you go through the motions, you get inside the cave, you go through the dungeon. I thought the dungeon was fun. I thought it was kind of cool. You got to face off some different enemies. I thought there was a great progression in terms of difficulty. And then you get to the final boss.
What I really liked is that throughout the dungeon, you really learned how to use your practical sword skills that you learned on your home island. Mm-hmm. So you got to really learn the mechanics properly, other than just like the boat mechanics. So I really, really like that fact.
Yeah.
When they let you do that early, it's important to me, because otherwise I'm just going to forget. There's going to be no muscle memory.
Yeah, and because there are only really 4 moves. There's the parry, then there's the like vertical, horizontal, and the stab.
Exactly.
And still there's a lot of variety in the combat.
Yeah.
I'll give you that 100%.
So you definitely get variety in what direction you're pressing the
you can jump attack as well.
That's true, yeah. Did you guys find the combat easy or difficult?
I found it relatively easy compared to other things that I've played. I mean, I'm not comparing it to like Dark Souls or anything like that. I mean, I'm comparing it to other games with the same kind of mechanics.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Mo?
It's a Zelda game, man. Yeah. No, like, and then you throw a bomb later on. That's
Did you even get the bombs?
Mo?
Yeah, I did. I was actually this whole time while you guys are talking, because shout out to the listeners. I don't know if I even caught up to the point where these guys have gotten to. I walked in and I'm like, I got thrown in jail, but I think I'm way farther because I do have a bomb. So I'm just following along trying to figure out where I'm at.
Okay. Jacob, how did you find the combat?
It's fine. I'll use more words.
Thanks.
It's
a kid's game.
It was like it when you compare it to like something like Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time had essentially one move plus so like 2 moves, right? Okay. The jump and then the slash. Mm-hmm. A lot more.
It's more about timing.
Yeah, 100%. The parry system is what this game is all about. If you're not parrying, you're not going to win. Especially when you get further in, like when you get to the Hyrule Castle, and some of the guards have the armor that you actually have to hit from behind. Mm-hmm. If you don't parry, you don't win. You don't advance. I did like the parry system, how that was in there.
Or using your shield a lot more.
Did you use your shield?
I did. I used my shield quite often.
See, and I didn't use my shield at all.
I rarely used it. I found that the combat was easy, and I was creating difficulty out of it by imposing constraints on myself. So I'm only going to parry their attacks.
This next group of guys, I'm only going to single strike.
No joke. I would approach groups of enemies, and I would say, I am only going to kill them with their weapons.
Wow.
So I would, make...
Or like the Baku stick.
Right. And I'd wait until their weapon falls off, and because I parried, and then I'll pick it up, and then I'll do the big swing, and then they'll be gone. I'm like, yes.
You remind me of like a kid that's put in the basement, and a stick is thrown around, like, here, have fun with your new toy. And you come see him later on, and he's like, I drove a race car with this stick, I caught a fish with this stick, I baked a cake with this stick. Michael, you just had a stick.
But this first area, again, I don't want to compare apples to oranges, but the Goron Village.
You're going to.
Goron Village from N64, from Ocarina of Time. I found that was a bigger area and had more density to it than this, not the dungeon, but the actual like village.
What do you mean by density? A lot of things in a tight space?
Yeah.
Because
it felt vibrant. It felt like
it was
things
more alive.
Yeah, more
I
alive.
found the characters would be more alive. The Goron race.
I mean, different strokes, different folks, but
it's, again, like you said, comparing apples to oranges, so you can't really
So then why are we
compare the two of them.
I figured I had to say
Also, why can you not compare fruit? Why can't you compare an apple and an orange? They are fruit.
That's like tangent number 5.
one has a peel and one does not.
They both have peels.
They
if you
both
peel
have a
them.
peel.
Oh shoot! But you can eat the peel. Well, I guess you could
You can eat the peel.
Are we back to this again? We're bringing back peels again.
So
I was making a pun. I
Yeah,
don't know about
were you? I wasn't following.
They both appeal.
Oh, that's a great dad joke.
Thank you.
Brain trust. Love it.
Say, guys, you know it's a good game. Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker.
Do you want to get back to it?
Let's get back to it.
Okay. So many tangents.
So
Michael's looking at me. He's like, don't you run this thing off course again or else. Half a dozen? That's too many.
Hey, as long as I'm not getting that look, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
So you complete the dungeon, you find out that there's this big angry scorpion centipede thing that's been holding on to the tail of the big dragon Valoo on the top of the island. And you take advantage of Valu's tail hanging there and the new grappling hook that you pick up from the Raito people. And you swing and you end up crushing the molten scorpion thing. And then you get the nice shiny pearl because the prince says, I don't need this anymore. I'm going to be a big boy. My grandma believes in me. This is a game about grandmas. Let me just point this out.
You do everything for grandma.
Everything for grandma. And, I mean, she's so adorable.
She's so cute.
Okay, so
She's
then...
fine.
I like when you go back to her and she's sleeping in her chair.
And
And
she's
just
sleeping. And she's sick. And then you...
She's sick?
She's sick.
Grandma's what?
If you go talk to the older brother, the one who is against people fighting, he says, your grandmother's sick. If only you could get a fairy or something.
I have a fairy.
And if you bring it to grandma, you heal her, and she gives
you the soup.
The magic soup.
Yeah.
What is
2 servings.
2 servings.
What does the magic soup do?
The magic soup restores all of your health and your magic.
Oh, that's it? There's no permanent effects? The soup isn't that good, is
and
it?
I think your damage is doubled for
The soup is good because grandma made it specifically
Jacob,
for you.
What do you have against grandmothers?
Don't you? I have a grandmother.
So what do you have against her?
Well, my
Should I
grandma's
have a
kind of
talk with
mean.
your-
My grandma's kind of mean, so let's not go there.
So we know where the root of Jacob's grandmother issues are.
Should I pull up a chair and give you a nickel, Lucy? You want to talk about it?
Let's talk about it.
That's tangent 6. Keep going.
So you finish on Dragon Roost Island. You make your way to the Forest Haven, where you get to see the Great Deku Tree.
I
How are
just
you
want to
guys
say
excited
I was
about
really disappointed with the Deku Tree because he wasn't like stoic and everything. And when I think of the Deku Tree, I think he's just like this grand trunk of a being.
Okay.
He was just like really like he
need to
matched the game though. He was like really fun.
Jacob, give us
He's
some
like a fun
background on the
uncle.
Deku Tree.
What is this? I knew there was some crazy context. I just don't know what it was. Why is this thing important in the Legend of Link saga?
You played Zelda 64.
I did. You keep poking me with this. It's Ocarina of Time. I know.
Okay.
The Deku Tree is like an old tree that controls all the other trees, right? It allows all the other trees to grow. But what's the tree from Kirby? That's the dopest tree.
Tree beer.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
In Dreamland.
Yeah.
I don't know its
Yeah.
name.
Order of Trees. That tree.
Kirby's
the great.
Epic Yarn, another great Nintendo game in the past 10 years.
Let's not talk about that. Then the Great Deku Tree from Ocarina of Time, and then this tree. What about that chin? That is a bulbous
Great
tree.
chin.
He's bulbous.
He's great.
The Koroks are cute as heck.
The Koroks are awesome.
They're adorable.
I
They're
love the little
so
Koroks.
adorable. I made a note of that in my
Okay.
books.
So there are little spirits of the tree. One that you end up having to go and save before they do their little dance and spread to the far corners of the seed on different islands to plant their Great Deku's tree seed. And so you end up going through this dungeon on the Forest Haven to rescue this little Korok. And they're just the cutest little spirits with leaves over their faces, or as faces, I can't tell. I'm not about to dissect a Korok to find out. And
They don't deserve that, man. They've been through enough.
they have been through enough.
They're almost Disney-like.
They are. Mm-hmm. And, okay.
I thought like Banjo-Kazooie, kind of.
When you complete that, do you guys not find that, like, their song and dance and, like, that whole cinematic was just so heartwarming? Did you not find that?
I don't think I did.
Why do you guys have, like, dark hearts?
I'm like the Dark Link of this timeline.
Yeah.
Where I'm just going to come up and be like, yo, I hate everything about this.
Why can't you just enjoy the whimsy, the lightness, the color?
This is what happened. I played Phantom Hourglass, and it set a standard. Anything below the standard.
Mike is putting his headphones down.
He's taking his earrings off, taking his shoes off.
Mo, we're about to go.
And see.
Go out for dinner? Where are you going?
But throw some fists.
So it's cute as heck, right?
It's
All
the
the
cutest.
actually-
It's a Wes Anderson video game.
It's a good game. It's just not
Little
that one.
bespoke islands filled with little people who have so much character.
Yes, and they go everywhere on the map afterwards, and they're like, bring us the mythical water from the trees, and my trees will then grow.
I was so upset because I tried collecting water in the Great Deku Tree, and it wouldn't allow me. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm not allowed to get water here. And then I go to the very closest island to the Forest Haven there, and there's little guys saying, like, hey, maybe if you bring me some water from the Great Deku Tree, this thing will come back to life. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Did you go back afterwards?
Of course
to
I
see?
did.
No, because I only have one empty
me too.
jar. I need to
I
get
have
more
two.
empty jars. Well, thanks for rubbing it in, Don.
I
I have one jar, and it's filled with grandma's soup, and I'm not about to waste it.
Oh,
That's
true.
fair. Don't waste the soup.
Yeah, so where did you get the second jar?
I ended up digging it up in the
Treasure?
with the
So what you're saying
With the hook?
is
With the
that
crane? With
the crane. Yeah, it's
you get things
salvage
more than
salvage
just,
arm.
You get more than just rupees.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
really on me
I
here.
don't remember where. I was just kind of like, sure, why not? And then I did it, and it was an empty jar. I'm like, oh, well, okay. All right, sure. Yeah, let's do this.
And then where do we go from here?
You gotten to the point where so you get the second pearl, and then now we have to get the third pearl,
So we can get into the
so we
Temple
can get
of the
into the
Gods.
So
Temple of
it
the Gods.
tells you to go to like your little boat friend tells you need to go to a specific island to meet Jobin. Jobin, I think.
Jabun.
Every time I think Jobin, I think of Paul Rudd calling Jason
Love in the
Segel
base, man.
and I love you, man.
Love in the base.
Jabun, man.
Did you just call me Jobin?
So, but I feel like there was like a fetch quest because you have to. There's like an order to getting to Jabun.
Yeah,
Jabun.
so he's hidden
wanna say
behind...
Jobin.
He's a big fish that's hidden behind a wall that you have to shoot with cannonballs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a
On
big
your home island,
whirlpool in
yeah.
front, right? So he seals himself away, and you have to, I think, go get all of the pearls first. Mm-hmm. Is that true?
He gives you a pearl just for
Right,
free.
that's what it
Yeah.
is.
He's like, here you go. Here's a pearl. I'm like, really? No more
It
dungeon?
tells you to go to this island where he's supposed to be when you leave the Forbidden Forest or
Right?
Forsaken
and it's
Forest,
destroyed.
yeah. And it's completely decimated. And then they're like, oh, well, now you gotta go find him. So you go back to the island where all of the people are, and the windmill is. What's it?
Windmill.
Windfall Island.
you.
So you go back to Windfall Island, and you.
Windfall.
Oh, right, the pirate ship.
pirates.
So the pirates are there.
Yeah.
So
So
you go.
good. I thought that was a great moment because you go into the bomb shop earlier and it's like, how much is it for a bomb? 10 million rupees.
Yeah.
Like, okay, bud.
Guess I'm not getting bombs today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when you go to the movie theater and they're like, hey, $19 for a small popcorn.
Yeah.
Oh, relax, bud. Like, what's in this damn popcorn?
Do you have a SIM card?
Tuesdays.
Oh, yeah. Here's a SIM card. Here's $1 off of your $19 popcorn.
For those
thank you.
non-Canadians, that is a loyalty card for the largest chain of movie theaters in Canada.
I think that isn't that also a branding across the U.S. too?
Nope.
Oh,
It's
They're
Canadian.
AMC in the US, I believe, right?
tracking.
Yeah. I'm sure they have an AMC. What is their thing called? Movie Pass? where you can get all the movies for free?
Who knows?
Mike's
we're going off topic again.
7. Keep going.
So
Pearl.
you see that the pirates are there. So you go up to obviously you're going to explore the pirate ship.
Yeah.
I know I was immediately curious.
Totally.
I was like, oh yeah, awesome. So I go to the door and there's a password. So at first I didn't know that you had to go to go around the back of the bomb shop. Like, you go to the bomb shop, you go to the door, and they're like, "We're closed." so leave now. And then you go around the back, and then you go up some vines, and you can go through the little crawl hole. Yeah, and you see that the pirates are tying up the gentleman who sells the bombs, and then they have a little conversation about what's the password of the day. So it's
and how many times did they say it?
Yeah, like it's.
Wait, sorry, I forgot it. What was it? Sorry, let me just confirm.
It's plankton.
Schooner, right?
It's plankton.
It
was yours?
was not.
Schooner.
Mine was Chumley.
What?
Oh, there's more than one?
Yeah, so I actually looked it up because I was
game.
really curious as to whether or not it was the same across the board. So the Wii U version has 3 different passwords. Mm-hmm. The GameCube version, I think, has those 2 passwords, Schooner and Chumley. So it's how do you agree to shark was the question when you go up
Chumley.
to the door. And as soon as I found out the password, I had to stop. I had to stop and just cry because I was laughing so hard because it was so punny and so clever. I don't know what the question was for Schooner, but
mine was, who is meant to walk the plank? Plankton.
Is that a SpongeBob reference, or is that
Jacob? How many kids do you have?
Oh,
7, right?
I'm such 7. I'm such a dad.
You're such a dad.
Those jokes are the best.
They really are.
Yeah, so there's some pretty good jokes.
Get it? Because you're on the plank.
I get
Plankton.
it.
What? So good.
It's good.
And Tetra sees you and kind of like
Gives you a wink.
winks at you.
It's a great directed cutscene.
It really is.
It's so good.
Very clever.
I can't remember.
Very saucy. She's very saucy, and I love it.
Can't imagine or can't remember a single cutscene in any other Zelda game that had that much character and personality.
Can you even remember another one that had any personality at all?
Like I can remember
I think
some horrible storytelling from
Skyward Sword kind of had some moments like that, but not quite as many.
Yeah, I didn't play much of Skyward Sword for obvious reasons.
I really loved it.
You know who did have a lot of character? Luigi.
You mean the Superior Mario Brother?
Year of the Luigi.
8. Mario's a superior Mario brother. Come on. We're not going to bring this up again. 8.
I feel like you're outnumbered.
Every time I tangent, Mike looks at me and he goes, "This is my game. You're ruining my game. This is about art. This isn't about your dumb humor, Jacob."
And Grandma.
Yeah, if you want to talk about how cute
and
Grandma is, I'm down to talk about it.
So charming.
My grandmother issues don't deny me having cuteness factor when I look at Grandma. I'm like, yo, that's a cute Grandma. She's super cute. I want to take an Afghan and just wrap her around the Afghan. Her in the Afghan.
You know, she's already got one on her lap when you go to visit her when she's sick.
She needs another Afghan, and I'm going to make it myself. I'm going to learn how to knit, then I'm going to make her an Afghan. Tangent 8, go on.
So you decide to use the password to get into the boat, and you find your buddy Nico, who's like, "Hey, my swabby, things have been tough since you've been gone because I'm back at the bottom. But thankfully you're here.
Alone.
Yeah, thankfully you're here, so I'm now in charge of someone. I've got another puzzle for you. It might take you another year to do." And you're just like, "Nico, did you not learn anything?"
I actually had a hard time with those torches. So the puzzle is you have to swing across these torches to get to the other side to get the treasure chest. So there are 2 switches. One switch opens the door on the other side. The other switch closes it. So obviously there's a time limit. So when you come back up the ladder after, you screw up a couple times like I did, more than a couple times actually, I was very frustrated.
Auto jumping sucks.
Yeah. Also, the direction, so because of the C stick is not inverted or is inverted. Either way,
is inverted.
Is inverted
by default on GameCube. Yes.
Yes. So because it is inverted, I had to still kind of get around that and try and aim properly for the next torch. So you get across these torches, and then you open the treasure chest, and ba-bam, you get some ba-bombs.
There's a bomb in the treasure chest for you.
Wait, okay, so I suck with Nintendo. It's Bob-omb from Mario.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
thank goodness. I was like, okay, I didn't know it was from Zelda.
Yeah.
You got it, Mo.
Okay,
You're
I
on the
connected
ball.
those dots.
You're on the ball. So then you take the bombs and you go to your home island. What's it called?
Outset
Outset.
Island.
Outset.
Yeah,
Yes.
Outset Island. And you use your cannon and you start blowing up in typical Nintendo fashion in 3 attacks. It takes to defeat this wall. And then you talk to this big fish.
Defeat the wall.
So when you have the bombs, one thing is that when you're on the boat, you are stationary. You cannot move and then shoot the bomb. So there's this cyclone behind the island that allows you to move and shoot at the same time. Which is
So you're on a timer, too.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you don't complete it in time, you get sucked
You get
into
sucked
the
in
bottom.
and then you...
Gotta start from scratch.
Yeah.
And so you get in, you talk to the god. He's like, here, I'm going to hook you up with this pearl. That's what, 2 out of 3?
No, that's the
That's
third
the
one.
third one.
Okay, perfect. So you got the third one. You go and you place the pearls on these little statues that are hidden throughout. They're not quite hidden, but heavily defended throughout the open seas. And then when all the pearls come together, the statues break. They shoot
Conveniently located in a triangle fashion.
conveniently, almost like a Triforce.
I wonder what they were trying to reference.
I wonder. And so they shoot their beams of light, and up from the depths of the sea comes...
The answer is Triforce. It's Triforce.
You're
It's
right,
the
you got
Triforce.
it.
Yes.
Oh, man. I was waiting for someone
So
to get
smart.
it. You got it, Jake. Out comes the Temple of the Gods. You go in, and it's just a bunch of puzzles and a bunch of electric chews. Holy cow, are there
I
electric
hated
chews.
those so much.
It took... I'm ashamed to admit how long it took me to figure out how to defeat those electric chews. I just kept hitting them with the sword and being shocked.
Getting electrocuted?
Yeah, and I was just like, why is this not working? And I just kept doing it. It's the definition of insanity.
I struggle
The
with a lot
definition
of
of
other
insanity is doing things over and over again, expecting a different result.
Yep.
Far Cry 3. But I expected, for some reason, I didn't struggle with that. I struggled with a lot, but I figured out, just throw your boomerang at it. It's cool. It'll blow up. Or your bombs, either or.
I used bombs. That's what I figured out.
Yeah, but to me, the whole premise of this dungeon is that at all times the level of the water is changing. So a lot of the puzzles are like, okay, you have to figure out how to get this room's puzzles or defeat this room's puzzles while the water is up and then the water's back down. And when it's down, you have the time, and then you have to wait when it comes up.
So I found in the other dungeons, they weren't very challenging. There was a some fun challenge. I found Temple of the Gods was a fun challenge. I felt really good when I was completing each of these little puzzles here and there. In a few instances, like when you're playing that tune to control the different statues, I found it got to be a bit boring because you knew what you needed to do and it was just going to take longer than you wanted it to do to get it done. But I thought throughout this dungeon, there was a ton of fun little puzzles to solve. How did you guys feel?
I think patience was definitely something that you had to incorporate into going through it. So I got to the mini boss in the Temple of Gods. That's where I'm at, and I actually did that today within like 25 minutes, and I was another 25 minutes basically of gameplay away from our stopping point, which is halfway getting the Master Sword there. And when it comes to things like that, especially because I was rushing today, I was not patient, so I was getting frustrated again. But it was well worth it, I think, because it was very entertaining, and I thought the puzzles were great. They were challenging but rewarding, kind of like what you said. And I really enjoyed it. That was my favorite part of the game so far, I think.
I just felt like the water changing heights was it really necessary to go? I mean, that to me is half the challenge.
It added a level of difficulty.
Yeah, is figuring out what do I have to do before the water comes up, and I have to wait just to think about it and go what do I have to do? What do I have to do? I move the boxes. Oh, I move the boxes. I have to move the boxes, and then you have to wait till it comes up and then comes back down. Yeah. I hate that I'm just saying and I don't know if it's because I've already played the game before and I'm like,
It probably has a lot to do with
it probably has a lot to do with it, but I have played other games before more than once and been like, hey, this is still good. I don't know what it is with this game that's causing me to go like, as a child, was I wrong? Was I wrong?
Is it like as same as Super Mario Galaxy, or is it what's your vibe on this game so far? Like up because we've talked about a lot of stuff right now.
I think it held its age very well.
Very well.
I think so too.
Better than Galaxy did.
100%.
Way better.
100%. Like
I'm scared to go back and play it now.
don't play it.
Don't do
Leave your
it.
positive thoughts with your childhood. Do not go and play it again.
Yep. 11 or 12-year-old you, because I think that's probably, no, a little older. 13-year-old me, like, loved it, and I wish I would have kept it in the past.
You talking about?
I'm talking about Galaxy. For Zelda, I feel like part of it is because of all the fat that's around it. And I'm talking like sailing and the water changing, just the stuff that adds challenge, just to add challenge and add time to. And it's probably because my game, the way I play games has changed, right? It's the whole like time versus money debate where when you're a kid, you have more time than you have money. So playing this Legend of Zelda game,
You want to spend your time with it. You want to do everything that you possibly can. You want that filler.
100%. Where now, as an adult, you have a job, you have money, but you don't necessarily have time, especially if you're, you have a family. This game would almost be impossible to play if you had a
You'll
family.
pay a microtransaction to cut some of the fat.
I'm going to suggest something. So, it's a controversial moment. Anyways,
Moment.
Wind Waker.
Moment. Go ahead.
So, has anyone played Assassin's Creed Black Flag?
Yes.
I have. Love
and
it.
the sailing was my least favorite part.
Get out of here, Don.
I know
Black
we already
Flag
talked
is-
about
Get
this.
out of here.
Black Flag is a
I'll just go.
current / previous gen AAA title version of Wind Waker that came out 10 years ago. It has you can sail around. There's lots of mini games. You can find your gems. You can dive for treasure.
It's the shanties.
Yeah, you can. You have a weapon.
The combat's there, yeah.
Yeah, and you can you can't customize, but your ship is kind of like your way to navigate from island to island. Each time you land somewhere, it's so good. Anyway, so with that game, Black Flag, the reason why I even bring it up is I've have that game kind of consistently like saved on my computer, and I always log in, play a little bit, do a side mission or two.
Yeah, you're sending your ships off to do different quests and
I feel like there's like, in terms of like the actual gameplay, there's little difference between like Wind Waker to Black Flag, but I like Black Flag more because I feel like I'm playing it at a slower pace on my own time instead of kind of rushing through trying to get it and beating it. So I think that's the reason why I don't like Wind Waker as much, is because I'm kind of like rushing through it to kind of beat
Do you
the
think
game.
if it was in a different instance, like on your own time, you would enjoy it more?
100%. If I was playing it, I'd discover things just like Mike. I'd be playing it slowly, kind of trying to find every little thing, but because it's kind of I'm trying to get through it, that's kind of its only negative downfall, which is a great thing because that's not really a downfall. That's just the pace I'm playing it.
You just feel pressured by the fact that
100%.
we want to record by a certain day.
Exactly.
Right.
I can feel that as well.
And that might be what Jacob might be. I don't know.
I think a lot of the fun of a Zelda game is figuring out how to solve the dungeons. And so when you know how to do them already, you don't get that sense of mastery that you've solved this puzzle. You're just
The
remembering.
accomplishment.
Yeah, you just remember the puzzle.
But see, I didn't.
No?
And so I played it on Twitch, and I had a friend bring me a sandwich. He was watching me through all of it. So he'd be like, "Oh, you're live, I'm going to watch it." He was telling me that he's played through the game, like, he might have been exaggerating, but he's like, "I played through it 60 times. I'm like, "Really?" He's like,
stop.
but I would get to a certain point, and I got caught a few times. I think I've said before, I'm not very good at video games. I love them dearly, really bad at them. But he remembered.
I can feel that sentiment.
I set everything on easy before I play it, and then if it's too easy, I might go to normal.
So I would say I got caught maybe half a dozen times where I didn't exactly know. Like, example, in the Temple of the Gods, where there's that fence, and you have to use your Korok leaf?
The leaf,
The leaf to get over that fence. And that I could not figure out for the life of me why I couldn't get it, and he remembered. So maybe it's just a me problem.
I remember that puzzle being one of the only times this game that I've had to look up, like, how do I solve this? Am I doing this the right way? Is my intuition here correct? And I realized it was not, and I needed to fly over with that leaf.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was an odd puzzle. But yeah, on the whole, I get what you're saying. I think I just had a different reaction to it.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you love it and that you're evangelizing the game, because I remember really liking Wind Waker a lot.
Your excitement, I think, brought excitement to my playing it.
I'm glad. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful game.
Very well.
And so, but I'll talk about the art here for a second. I thought it looked great back when I played as a kid. I think it looks great now. There's obviously some, ways that you'd like it to be crisper. When I looked online for video of the HD remaster that was released for the Wii U, I believe, and then when I watched Jacob's stream, it is such a beautiful game. Like
they tweaked so many small things because I saw a few people playing it.
Yeah, it looks fantastic, and I think it's like a real testament to the game that a game that came out 15 years ago, essentially, looks this good. To this day, there's not many games that I think I could go back that are 15 years old, even 10 years old, that still stand up in terms of aesthetic, art style, and graphics. And Wind Waker definitely does that.
Ratchet and Clank definitely.
I mean, we'll play that eventually. Then I'll know whether it stands up.
Wink.
Wink.
But this game excites me to play Breath of the Wild because Breath of the Wild takes a lot of the traditional Zelda mold and just turns it on its head. You can jump in that game. Also, you don't follow a linear path, right? You do.
It's completely open world.
It's completely open. The crafting, there's a crafting system in it. I guess I just I don't want to call this game antiquated. It's a game from 2003, so like whatever. Like it's a 15-year-old game, and it probably followed the average of what game design was in 2003.
I think it was definitely above average.
Above average.
Above average. I guess.
Animal Crossing came out in 2003 as well,
so good.
And the comparison between the two, Wind Waker is I love Animal Crossing and I love those games, but Wind Waker is it's so much prettier.
Yeah, visually prettier.
Visually, yeah. Well, even the gameplay as well.
Yeah.
Right?
When I sit down and think about it, I don't even need to compare it to a game 15 years ago. I know that I would rather play Wind Waker over a lot of the games that I've loaded up on my Xbox One or my laptop, or on my Wii, and it's just, I think it stands up really well.
And everybody has a game like that as well.
Yeah.
Do you maybe want to just talk about the end of where we stopped to get the Master Sword? Because that's all we have left to kind of go through.
So you finish the Temple of the Gods, you face the final boss, and when you complete it, he opens up, he slides back into the wall, and you get sent down into this bottom of the ocean. And it is the castle from Hyrule. It is the castle from Ocarina of Time.
You mean Zelda 64?
Zelda 64, exactly.
Oh.
And
I love that joke.
Callback humor. And so you walk through this. You walk through this castle that's stuck in time.
It looks like the Temple of Time.
It does, isn't it?
Is it?
I think it is.
Well, it would make sense if that's where the Master Sword is.
Yeah. So everything's stuck in time.
And the Triforce in the middle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you solve a little puzzle navigating these pieces to form a Triforce. It slots down into the ground. You go in, and there's this sort of like temple where you pull the Master Sword out of the ground, and there's these stained glass windows with all kinds of characters from Ocarina of Time. And it's just like a great
There's
callback.
a Goron, there's Impa.
There's the fairies.
I just want to make a point to say that when you're in this, like, I guess let's call it the Temple of Time,
right.
Everything is in black and white.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's
until time comes back.
Until time comes back. So until the sword is pulled from the stone, everything turns to color. So when you see the stained glass windows, everything's in a very, very vibrant. And the cell shading is really beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's got that, what's that movie that's black and white with some color? Pleasantville. It's got a very Pleasantville effect. Fantastic. Looks really good, very striking. Couldn't agree more.
And the contrast with Link being in color, everything else being in black and white.
Yeah. So
those big knights put their swords out, you see the sun, and then he rips it from the ground.
And then the sword becomes color. And then you get upstairs and you realize, like, oh no, I've been, like, hitting people with, like, a dull kitchen knife. And now I'm hitting people with, like, a steel chainsaw. And vroom vroom, you just lay these fools out. And they've clearly been sent there by Ganondorf or Ganon.
Ganon.
I'm sorry, my bad.
He's Ganon in the canon, just remember.
Ganon in the canon. I just got to remember that. And then, and then you go outside of the castle, you explore a bit, you hit a barrier,
Why is that even there? Like, why do you...
Because that's the end of the game. If you're speedrunning, they found a way through that barrier to get right to Ganon at the very end. But yeah, so we're going to be making a trip back there by the end. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so that's what we played up to. After that, I just went sailing around the map, filling in some of my empty holes and side quests and things like that.
But you couldn't find another jar.
But I couldn't find another jar. It actually still hurts me that you brought that up. I'm so sorry.
Did you find a lot of the time that you had to, like, it wasn't immediately clear what the next step was? Because I found I always had to ask, and maybe it's just me, the King of Red Lions,
I can agree.
What's next? What's going on? Like, shouldn't I just know?
Yeah, so there's no quest log that you can look back to, but I think I feel fine about it because you're always with the King of Red Lions. Mm-hmm. He is always there, and he is very quick to say, "What are you doing? We need to go to the Forbidden Fortress right now."
Yeah.
Or we need to go to the Forest Haven. So he tells you exactly.
Or
where
as soon as you come out, he prompts you.
Yeah.
Or when you have the amulet, which Tetra originally spoke to you through.
Which, great reveal. The second she gives it to you, the very first thing you hear is, "Hey."
It's like, I never noticed. That's clever.
Just a great callback.
But we'll save that for next time because I stopped. One thing I want to say, and this is the last thing that I have to say. Didn't you find it annoying that the King of Red Lions loves to talk? He talks the whole time.
Talks a lot.
But then when you're about to go into this mysterious castle that you know nothing about, he
is silent.
He's like, I can tell you the whole story, but you just need to go. I'm like, dude, you've talked to me. Bro. Tell me the story. You've wasted my time so much. Why not now? Why don't you want to tell me this? What if there's a dangerous man in there who has a large kitchen knife?
You're wasting your time with love, man. He just cares about you.
He's like the grandma of the seas.
He's grandpa.
Yo. Grandpa of the seas. The King of Red Lions.
Yeah, so one last thing about the undersea world. It's super cool because it kind of creates another level of lore in that the world of Ocarina of Time is the same world that you're in. Everything's just flooded. And so I thought that was just like a really fun, cool callback.
Like Atlantis.
Exactly. It was like a cool, there was a great flood, But yeah, I think that wraps up for where we are this week. Jake, where do we go from here?
So the next time we do this, we'll play through to the end. And that's kind of where we go from here. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you want to say the next game yet, or if we want to hold that until
we should hold it.
We should put a pin in it and hold it.
You've got to tune in next time.
Those cards are held close to my chest.
Are they? But what about, reviews on iTunes? Are those kept close to your chest?
Those are out in the open.
Are they?
On iTunes. You should give them 5 stars. If you like the episode, if you like the show, and if you don't, you should let us know. How can you do that? You can reach out to us on Twitter at Left Behind Game Club. You can reach out to us on Twitch. You can follow Jacob. Follow along as he plays. It's a ton of fun.
It's very.
I've enjoyed watching it.
Did you watch too?
No.
45
liar.
But I feel like you'd be very entertained.
The 45 minutes that Jacob spent looking for that sale was one of the best hours that I've had of my life. I just sat in my basement watching on TV, just cackling wildly as he went in circles, and then got upset when the little rat would make him fall down back into the sea.
Oh my god, you did watch.
I did watch. It was amazing. I had so much fun. If you want to have fun,
you know where you can do that?
You can watch
jacobstreams.com.
Jacobstreams.com. He's got an auto-direct URL for you.
I got a .com. I did the internet. Yep,
But yeah, so if you like that, and you like the podcast, go to iTunes, give it a 5 out of 5. If you don't, let us know what you think could be better. We're happy to hear some feedback. Mo, where can the people find you?
Find me at Murtadi on all social media, and murtadi.com is my website.
Don, D-Money, where can people find you?
I'm DAWNN Darling on Instagram. Other than that, that's the same handle that I use for pretty much everything.
Okay. You can find me at RuffoloM and MichaelRuffolo.com. And Mr. McCourt, where can people find you aside from JacobStreams.com?
At Jacob McCourt on pretty much everything.
Pretty much everything? Like Twitter?
Like the Twitter, like the Facebook, like the Pinterest. Yeah, I have Pinterest.
Instagram.
You should.
I should. It's great. I want to look at fall fashions. Guess what? I just find a board where the fall fashions are.
Wedding ideas.
Yes. What if I want to get married someday? I can find what to put on my cake.
What to wear.
What to wear too. What if I want to put wrestlers on my cake? Can I do that? Can I put wrestlers on my cake, Mike?
You can.
Can I?
As long as it's Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage, then yes.
Yeah! You better bite into a Slim Jim, brother, because those are salty and delicious. Okay, I'm done. Should we finish this podcast now?
That has been the episode.
Oh, Angry Alvin wasn't here. He would have been angry.
I'm so glad.
It's been good, guys.
It's been great.
This has been wonderful.
Dawn, thanks for coming around today.
Thank you for having me.
Looking forward to finishing the game and talking more about it with you guys.
Yeah. Good.
Let's go, team.
Ready, break.
Break.
Let's actually do it where we put our hands in. 1, 2. Oh, come on. No, touch our hands. Don't be above the hands. Not with your fingers. Touch the whole hand. No.
2, 3. Break.
Break. That was sucky.